Hey, it's me again, Randy. That's Randy, coming to you on this Sunday afternoon. Well, as y'all know, tomorrow is Monday. Sunday is my relaxation day, but I decided to make a video while waiting for my wife and kids to come out of the open house for the kids' school. And I know you probably thinking like, oh, Randy, why you ain't in there with them? That mind your business. The only reason I ain't in there with them is because I told my wife in the beginning I ain't feel like doing nothing. It's my last day before having to go back to work, and I want to relax. Actually, I'd rather be on my couch and watching TV like some of y'all doing right now, but I can't. I'm out and about, and I decided to sit in my car and relax. I'm gonna get my relaxation in one way or the other. And it is another gorgeous day that the Lord blessed us with down here in Virginia. Not quite as warm as it was on it was one day we had this. I think it was Thursday. It was like almost 80 degrees. It was not quite that warm outside today. I got the windows up in the vehicle because it's what we call around here in Virginia jacket weather. But anyway, I thought I'd talk to y'all. I just did a little short on I was watching this thing. There was this it was like a 7-minute video about why people don't want to work. And I know I talked about this before, but I'm really interested in what y'all think about this. Cause I'll be honest, the Bible says that if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. So I do. Mainly what I'm trying to say is I go to work because it's biblical. I don't think that we should be able to live off the backs of those of us that are being productive. Even though I know that there is a segment of our society that's exactly what they do. They feel that they don't have to work. We got having safety nets in this country is a blessing, but it's a curse as well, especially for people like me, because our taxes go up. And I know you keep hearing one party talk about, well, we're gonna tax the rich. Man, that's nonsense. They consider anybody with a job rich, if you're gonna be honest. I know some of y'all might think that's crazy, but they do. They tax anybody with a job. And because most wealthy people, there are loopholes that they know how to get around where they don't pay as much taxes as somebody like me who's an employee. Now, what they don't tell you, a lot of people don't tell you, are those loopholes are available to everybody. It's just that you have to be at a certain income bracket to really be able to tap into them. And unfortunately for people like me who's an employee and I don't make that much, a lot of those loopholes aren't really available to me. But wealthy people do pay taxes. Well, let me take that back. It depends on what, if they part of the Democrat Party, they probably not paying no taxes, because we all know that there's some very well-to-do Democrats that somehow avoid paying taxes. They ain't never seen a day in jail or whatever and owe millions of dollars. But so I understand, and like I said, Jesus being a perfect man had a job. His job was carpentry. Some people say he was a stone builder. But either way, Jesus being perfect had a job. So with that said, if a perfect man had a job, what makes us think us being imperfect, we don't need no job? But it's amazing that this country that we live in, the Americas, the United States of America, was built off people who work. The skyscrapers that we enjoy, the railroads and everything was built by somebody's hands. But now our society is becoming extremely lazy with a capital L. And I don't know what happened. I think there is some entitlement, and I do notice some of these jobs don't pay that well. They don't. But see, and that's the myth too, because some people really think that if you own a business, you load it with money, and that's not always the case. The I'm not a business major. I'm just talking about experience from places I work with. But what people don't understand is they pay you according to what the market says that you're worth. That's what your pay is based off of. It's based on the market. So I work on cars, and I'm a general service tech. And like I said, I've been a flat rate online tech before too. I think flat rate is a little better because you don't get the luxury of being lazy on flat rate. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because if you're a lazy flat rate tech, you're gonna go hungry. That's just what it is. Because you ain't gonna make absolutely nothing. There is no safety net for those guys. And being hourly, it can make you lazy because like you said, like I said before, we basically get paid for showing up. So with that said, I think that people just is something that they just don't have an incentive to work anymore. They just like don't seem like, and I know some people say, well, it's the pay. I ain't getting paid that much. Man, when I first got in this business of doing what I do, I made barely $6 an hour. And then I worked my way up from there. And yeah, I tried to do other things. I was a delivery driver. That only paid like $6.50 back in the day. So I get it. I know a lot of these jobs don't pay that well. But some of these folks don't think, they just think that they can come in and automatically demand the highest pay rate when they have very little experience. And the reason I get paid what I get paid now is because I have 20 plus years experience. I think I should get paid a little more, but for what I get paid, my job really isn't that hard, and my job is not that demanding. My other auto techs know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, I think I get paid pretty well, but as I started making more money, my lifestyle went up. So I try to live beneath my means. Like me and my wife, we really work on trying not to spend a bunch of money. And we're really working on not buying things unless we absolutely have to buy it. Well, one of the things most of our income is for gas and food and to clothe our kids. And the blessing is, the Lord has helped us find places where we can save money on those things. When me and my wife first got married, and it was just me and her and my stepson, we could eat out every night because it was just me and her. And then when we had my daughter, and then my next to the oldest child, which is my other son, we had to cut that out. We had to learn how to budget a little better. And but I get that. I understand why some people do come to work with this, like, man, this is just pointless coming in here. I feel like that sometimes too, and it's not because of the job. I feel that way for a totally different reason. I feel that way because I know I'm getting ripped off by the tax man. I'm getting ripped off by not only my federal government, I'm getting ripped off by my state government. I'm getting taxed for every single thing. If I go to eat, I get taxed on that. I get taxed for driving to work. And if I decide to take the shortest route, I get a toll, which in my view is another tax. And then I got 2 cars. We used to have 3, but I got 2. I'm paying a tax on that. One of them has been paid for the last 3 years. I'm still getting taxed on it. And the one that I'm making payments on, I'm getting taxed on that too. And I made the final purchase, and that was 3 years ago. So it's like, I get what some people feel like, man, what's the point of going to work? Because all they do is ripping me off. And then they blame, and they make the mistake of blaming the job. It's like, it's not the job. The problem is your taxes. The problem is that you got politicians that make business deals with their buddies, and they come for us for the bill. That's the problem. And it can be frustrating because there's no real way of fixing that other than that through a vote. But some people are going to vote according to their best interest, and their best interest might be to stay on welfare because they ain't got to work and they still get some type of money. Whereas those of us to be productive, we like, man, we're going to grind and do whatever because we don't want to be on welfare. We actually want to make our own way. We just want the government to get out of our way and let us do what we do. And I mean, I ain't talking about doing nothing illegal. I'm talking about doing stuff legally. You know how much more money you could bring home if we could eliminate income tax? And that's why I voted for Donald Trump, because I'm praying they can actually pull that off. And here in Virginia, that same bill is on the desk. Youngkin, Governor Youngkin is trying to get rid of the income tax for Virginians, but unfortunately, there's a certain party whose name starts with a D. They don't want to let it pass. But they put, like I said before, they pretend like they care about the people, but they don't. Because here's an opportunity to actually help us out, us working families out that actually trying to feed our kids and do what's right, law-abiding citizens. Something as simple as getting rid of the income tax so we can put more money back in our pockets. Because let's be honest, most of us Americans don't know how to budget. That's why most of us in debt. So if you get more money back, guess what's going to happen? They're going to spend more money. So the economy going to keep booming. The more money you put in their pocket, they're just going to spend more money, because most of us don't know how to budget. So I don't understand what the big deal is, other than the fact that you want to use it as a power grab. So I get why some of these people, and I know a lot of them are young people that it seem like they don't want to work. Some of them actually do. I work with a guy, I ain't gonna say his name, but he grind. And you know, he was able to buy a house, and he had multiple cars, and he came in at the entry level, but he worked his way up, and he's doing pretty well, because he's got a drive in him that a lot of people his age just don't have. Because there's a lot of guys that are his age and they just, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I'm just telling the truth. So, but I get it though, because it does seem like the harder you work, the more they take from you. You know, like I work overtime sometimes, but the overtime don't pay as well, because they take most of it in taxes. So it's like, what's the point of working overtime? Other than I get a few crumbs to help out a little bit, but so I get it from both sides. But that's why I always say that I do my work as unto the Lord. And as long as I do my work as unto the Lord, I will always have a drive to always want to do better and better myself, regardless of what my job is. And like I said before, if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. That's biblical. I'm a strong capitalist, because of capitalism, from what I've seen, you literally can, depending on your drive to be better, you literally can be poor today and be wealthy tomorrow. It just depends on if you're willing to put the work in to get there. That's all. But unfortunately, a lot of Americans are not, and I see why you got a lot of Americans that want socialism and communism, because those entities or those isms or whatever, they really do reward people for very little. But what they don't realize is those systems take from people who are actually being productive, and they give it to people that ain't even being productive. So guess what's going to end up happening? Everybody ends up broke. That's what ends up happening under them systems. And a lot of Americans don't understand that. So I just wanted to take this time out on this Sunday to see what you guys thought about this issue of people not wanting to work. And yeah, just leave a comment in the comment section. And I hope that you like this video and subscribe. I need a lot more subscribers, because I told y'all a while back, I need some help as far as getting my kids through college. And I can't depend on the United Negro College Fund. I can't do that. So I need y'all help. And all I ask is you like, subscribe, help Randy put these kids through college. That's all I ask you to do. You don't send me no money directly. I ain't asking for that. I just need some likes and some subscribers. That's all I need. All right. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.